Let me ask you something. How many times have you felt that spark of motivation, that sudden rush of energy where you're convinced you're going to change your life? Maybe you watched an inspiring video, read a book, listened to a podcast, and for a brief moment you felt unstoppable. But then what happens? A few hours later, a day, maybe a week at best, and suddenly that fire starts to fade. You tell yourself you'll get back on track tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week turns into next month, and before you know it, you're back where you started. Sound familiar? That's because motivation is a lie. We've been sold the idea that we need to feel motivated to take action, that we need to wait for the right mood, the right mindset, the right inspiration to start moving. And that belief is the reason why most people never change their lives. Think about it. If you only worked out when you felt like it, how often would you actually work out? If you only pursued your dreams when you were inspired, how far would you get? The people who achieve greatness, who change their lives, who break free from the ordinary, they don't rely on motivation, they rely on something far more powerful. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL commander. Now, if you don't know Jocko, he's the kind of guy who wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every single day to train, without fail. One time, someone asked him, how do you stay so motivated? And you know what his answer was? I'm not motivated, I'm disciplined. Let that sink in for a second. He's not relying on motivation, he's relying on discipline. Motivation is like a high, it feels great while it lasts, but it's temporary. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The difference between successful people and everyone else isn't that they wake up every morning bursting with motivation. It is that they do what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not. Let's break it down. Why is motivation so unreliable? First, because it's based on emotions, and emotions are unpredictable. Some days you wake up excited, ready to take on the world. Other days you don't even want to get out of bed. If you rely on motivation, you are at the mercy of your emotions, and emotions lie. They tell you it's okay to skip today. They tell you do it later. They give you excuses and you believe them. Second, motivation is external. It's triggered by something outside of you, a speech, a video, a song. That's why it fades so quickly, because as soon as that external trigger is gone, so is your drive. Now let me show you what works instead. Habit, systems, discipline. These are the real drivers of success, and they are deeply interconnected. But how do you build them? Let's start with habits. A habit is an action you repeat until it becomes second nature. The key to building a habit is consistency. Research shows that habits are formed through a cycle called the habit loop: cue, routine, and reward. The cue is the trigger that reminds you to act. The routine is the action itself, and the reward is the benefit. The benefit you get from doing it. For example, if you want to develop a habit of reading, your cue could be placing a book on your pillow before bed. The routine is reading a few pages, and the reward is the satisfaction of learning something new. Start small. If you want to build the habit of exercising, don't start with an hour-long workout. Start with 5 minutes. The goal is to make it so easy that you can't fail. Over time, the habit strengthens and expands naturally. Now let's talk about systems. Systems are the structure that supports your habits and removes decision fatigue. A system ensures that your habits fit seamlessly into your daily routine. For example, if your goal is to eat healthier, a system could be meal prepping every Sunday so that healthy meals are always available. If your goal is to write consistently, a system could be setting up a dedicated writing space and blocking out specific times in your schedule. Systems automate success. They create an environment where doing the right thing becomes the default option. When you have systems in place, you don't waste mental energy debating whether or not to act. Just follow the process. And at the core of all is discipline. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. It's the commitment to follow through no matter how you feel. Most of us are stuck in our comfort zones. Discipline is about pushing beyond that and extending your comfort zone. When you do things out your comfort zone over a period of time, those things that once felt difficult start to feel natural. They become part of your identity. One way to strengthen discipline is through small acts of self-control. Wake up at the time you said you would, even if you don't feel like it. Push yourself to complete tasks, even when they seem inconvenient. Each time you step outside your comfort zone and follow through on a commitment, you expand what you're capable of handling. Over time, discipline compounds, making hard things feel easier, and what once seemed impossible becomes second nature. When you build a habit, you eliminate the need to rely on fleeting emotions. When you have a system, you create an ecosystem where success becomes inevitable. You don't ask yourself, should I go to the gym today? Because the system ensures that decision is already made for you. When you have discipline, you develop the resilience to follow through even when the habit feels inconvenient or the system encounters obstacles. Discipline ensures that you stick with the habits and systems long enough for them to yield results. It is the glue that holds everything together, the force that transforms temporary effort into lifelong mastery. You don't question whether you'll work on your goals because your habits and systems make it the default choice. The key is to intertwine all three. Habits give you repetition, systems give you structure, and discipline gives you consistency. Together, they remove doubt, hesitation, and resistance, making success an automatic outcome rather than a constant struggle. So, how do you shift from motivation to discipline? First, stop waiting to feel like it. Stop asking yourself if you're in the mood. Your emotions don't get a vote. Second, make it easy to start. If you want to work out, lay out your gym clothes the night before. If you want to write, set up your desk in advance. Reduce the friction. Third, create accountability, but do it wisely. While sharing your goals can create external pressure to follow through, relying too much on external validation can be a trap. Studies suggest that talking about your goals can sometimes trick your brain into feeling a false sense of accomplishment, making you less likely to take action. Instead, set up accountability measures that emphasize results over just intention. Track your progress privately or work with a mentor who keeps you accountable based on execution, not just words. And lastly, embrace the suck. Understand that discipline isn't about feeling good in the moment. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. So the next time you find yourself saying, I need motivation, remember this. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need habits. You need systems. That's what will change your life. If you integrate these three elements into your life, success won't be something you chase. It will be something you naturally move towards every day. So see you in the next video and stay legendary.